Spark of Freedom, Birth of a Nation, June 12, 1898. On a day etched in history, courageous hearts beat as one, declaring the Philippines independence. Emilio Aguinaldo's bold proclamation ignited the flame of self-rule, illuminating the path to sovereignty. These reports unfold the story of that pivotal moment, honoring the brave Filipinos who shaped their nation's destiny. Good morning, everyone. I'm Lorence Maniquis, together with my co-reporters, Lamarca, Maegan Mauyao, and Gabriel Maitim. And we are going to talk about the Declaration of Philippine Independence happened in June 12, 1898 at Cavite. Before we formally start our presentation, let me give you a short introduction about today's topic. So today's topic is about the Declaration of Philippine Independence on June 12, 1898, marked as a significant milestone in Philippine history, shaping the country's future and identity. So to begin with our topic for today, here's Maegan Mauyao to report to you about the background of our topic for today before the Declaration of Philippine Independence happened way back in 1898.
The Filipino people, led by Emilio Aguinaldo, finally stood up against the Spanish in August 1896, who had ruled them for a really long time. They were tired of being controlled and wanted to be free. After the Suez Canal opened in 1869, they started to see the world beyond Spain, and they wanted that for themselves. Additionally, a small revolution in Cavite province back in 1872 showed that they were ready to fight for freedom. So the 1896 rebellion was like the final war, a big push for independence. In 20 years later, Filipinos who wanted their country to be free started secretly working together. Jose Rizal formed a group called Liga Filipina, and Andres Bonifacio created another called Katipunan. Emilio Aguinaldo joined Katipunan and became a really important leader in the Cavite area, known as Magdalo. Then, in 1896, fighting broke out in Manila and quickly spread all over the islands. Aguinaldo won a lot of battles against the Spanish, which made him even more powerful in Katipunan. Sadly, this led to Bonifacio being arrested and killed in 1897. On the other hand, the Treaty of Paris in 1898, which ended the Spanish-American War, handed over the Philippines to the United States. Despite Filipino desires for self-rule, this sparkled a long and difficult struggle for independence, as the Filipinos continue to fight for their right to govern themselves. During the war between Spain and America, the Filipinos thought they were on the same side as the Americans. They declared independence in 1898, and Emilio Aguinaldo became their leader.
Ngayong meron na tayong kaalaman tungkol sa mga nangyari bago idiniklara ang independence noong 1898, narito ako, si Lorence Maniquis, together with Lamarca, upang ibahagi or i-discuss sa inyo ang tungkol sa Declaration of Philippine Independence, kung anong nilalaman nito, kung saan ito naganap, at kung ano-anong mga importanteng impormasyon ang maaaring ninyong makalap upang magkaroon kayo ng kaalaman patungkol dito. So the Declaration of Philippine Independence was proclaimed in Cavite El Viejo, or now known as Cavite, where the ancestral house of General Emilio Aguinaldo was located. It was happened in June 12, 1898, attended by a large crowd. Between 4 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon was set when the national flag of the Philippines was unfolded. sued by Marcela Agoncillo with her daughter Lorenza Agoncillo and her friend Delfina Herbosa in Hong Kong. the Marcha Nacional Filipina, or also known now as Lupang Hinirang, was played by the San Francisco de Malabon Marching Band. So here is the comparison of the Marcha Nacional Filipina lyrics with the Lupang Hinirang lyrics we have today. So as you can see, the Marcha Nacional Filipina was written in Spanish, while the Lupang Hinirang we have today is written in Tagalog. Ambrosio Rianzares Bautista wrote and read the proclamation Acta de la Proclamación de Independencia del Pueblo Filipino, written in Spanish, which had become well-known praise from the American Declaration of Independence. This declaration was signed by 98 people, including General Emilio Aguinaldo and an officer in the American Army as an attesting witness of this declaration. Even as important as June 12 may have been, it was formally promulgated on August 1 as many towns had already organized under the dictatorial government's rules. You can see, here's the actual document of Acta de la Proclamación de Independencia del Pueblo Filipino, or the document that read and written by Ambrosio Rianzares Bautista in June 12, 1898 at Cavite, Cavite. It was proclaimed by military leaders and frustrated with Spanish colonial representatives, and it primarily stressed the suffering caused by abuse from the Spanish in form of arbitrary arrests and unfair deportations. In that declaration, the declaration rated the historical context about the colonization, which dates from the arrival of Ferdinand Magellan and how the country fell into the Spanish hand.
The revolution against Spain started in August 1896. Many years of struggle for the Filipino forces led to such important victories that Filipinos declared their independence and right to self-governance. In it, they stressed the idea of establishing a free nation that could decide for itself and enter into treaties. They vowed their life and honor to uphold and defend the declaration. On the other hand, Aguinaldo was confirmed to be the rightful head of the new country. The national flag was adopted representing struggle and unity, with designs included that symbolized features common to the major islands in the Philippines and acknowledging dependence on the United States for support. The color blue in Philippine flag represents peace, freedom, and justice. The color red represents courage and patriotism. The color white represents liberty, equality, and fraternity. The three stars represents the three major island groups, which is the Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. But other people says na hindi daw po buong Visayas ang kasama sa three major island groups. Ang dapat lang daw po ay Luzon, Panay Island, and Mindanao. The golden sun with 8 trees. The golden sun represents unity, freedom, people's democracy, and sovereignty, while the 8 rays represents the 8 regions that started revolting against Spain, such as Manila, Bulacan, Cavite, Pampanga, Morong, Laguna, Batangas, and Nueva Ecija. But other people says ang 8 trees daw ay nagre-represent sa 8 civil provinces covered by the declaration of martial law by Governor General Ramon Blanco upon the discovery of Katipunan, which is Tarlac daw po is included, Morong, which then was a political military district and not a civil province, and it's not part of the 8 rays. The document ended with a promise from the gathered leaders to fight for their newly acquired independence, and this would mark a great turning point in the Philippine history. But the original proclamation was altered in the Malolos, Bulacan because of Apolinario Mabini, who opposed the idea of putting the Philippines under the protection of the United States.
So to give you the significance of the declaration, here's Gabriel Maitim to discuss to you that.
The Declaration of the Philippine Independence on June 12, 1898 marked the conclusion of over 300 years of Spanish colonial rule in the Philippines. This act signified the Filipino success in their long struggle for freedom from Spanish oppression, embodying the Filipino people's resilience and drive for self-determination. The declaration reflected a decisive moment where Filipinos asserted their rights to govern themselves, putting an end to centuries of colonization. Following the declaration, the First Philippine Republic was established, becoming Asia's first constitutional democracy. This move demonstrated that Filipinos were not only eager for independence but also ready to construct a government based on democratic principles. The Republic was a major step in the formation of a modern Filipino nation and showcased the country's readiness for self-governance and sovereignty. The Declaration has continued to serve as an enduring symbol of Filipino patriotism and unity, inspiring later generations to uphold independence, sovereignty, and a strong sense of identity. This act of declaring independence became a rallying point for nationalism, reinforcing the Filipino spirit amidst challenges from foreign and internal pressures. It serves as a key historical moment that strengthened and fostered Filipino identity and pride.
So the challenge and controversies during the Declaration of Philippine Independence.
American colonization of the Philippines from 1989 to 1946 brought significant challenges that shaped the nation's future. Filipinos lost their independence after the Philippine-American War, and the U.S. structured the Philippines' economy around American interest, creating a dependency that hindered local growth. Educational reforms increased literacy but emphasizes American culture over Filipino traditions. Despite promises of eventual independence, full self-governance was delayed, frustrating Filipinos who sought immediate freedom. The devastation of World War II, especially during the Japanese occupation, added these challenges, leaving the Philippines with lasting impact on its national identity and development.
The discussion about whether the Philippines Declaration of Independence in 1898 was legitimate and controversy surrounding Emilio Aguinaldo's role is still a hot topic of debate. People are debating the exact words that used in the Declaration of Independence and Aguinaldo's leadership, especially during the Philippine-American War. The other people see Aguinaldo as a hero for his early success against the Spanish, while others criticize him because the way he treated Andres Bonifacio. Different interpretations of history make it hard to agree on whether Aguinaldo was a strong leader or he made a lot of mistakes. This discussion shows how hard Philippine history is, and our different perspective form a lot of understanding in history.
The legacy and commemoration. June 12, 1898 is known as Philippine Independence Day. It celebrates the end of Spanish rule and the beginning of the Philippines as a free country. National heroism and patriotism, where the people who helped declare the independence, like General Emilio Aguinaldo, are seen as heroes. Their bravery inspires Filipinos to be proud of their country and its history. Inspiration for future generations. The story of June 12 encouraged the younger generations to value their freedom and rights. It reminds them to get involved in their communities and to work for fairness and equality, helping to build a strong, united nation. To conclude, here's Leah Lamarca to present to you the conclusion of this report.
On June 12, 1898, the Declaration of Philippine Independence was something much more than a sheet of paper, cracking centuries of Spanish oppression. There, under the leadership of Emilio Aguinaldo, stood the Filipino people finally affirming their right to self-governance, strengthened by decades of battle and driven by a fierce desire for independence. Coming from the very corrupt Cavite, this gesture demonstrates the resilience of the Filipino people and the start of Asia's first constitutional democracy. The flame initiated on June 12 shines bright against the very long and tiresome journey, reminding anyone who ever saw it of Filipino people who never forget their beloved country and do not let independence slip through their fingers. These lines translate the Declaration of Philippine Independence into the people's souls. The loud, angry cry for freedom echoed across the archipelago back in 1898. It speaks about indomitable spirit, the quest for self-determination, and the pursuit of unyielding commitment to a nation defined by its destiny. The pains and sufferings of such defiance are left behind, but the Filipino spirit and the hope of a truly independent country remain unbroken, and the light that illuminates everyone's sight never goes out. It is a heritage that inspires the next generation to strive for a time when the Philippines will be a proud nation, molded by its own aspirations.
Thank you for listening. See you next time.